capturing the complexity of modern African American life. Congratulations, Kendrick Lamar.
For me, it's so much of a spiritual process in making the album. I gotta really feel connected to the music. I gotta feel connected to what I'm talking about. And that can drain you, know, because you're pulling all these different emotions out. You're grabbing all these different experiences around the world and all these different conversation pieces. And you almost have to reenact that because you can't. The time I got inspiration, I probably was on the road. I didn't have no tour bus to record. So I gotta pull that energy back out, you know, and locked in with the same people for 6-7 months to a year. That's a big release getting down to that last mix, a big relief. So it's a blessing, man.
Kendrick Lamar is one of a kind in every sense of the word. There has been no rapper who has used their musical ability to express the world we live in and their own personal life to such a level of detail and mastery. From Section 80 all the way to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, today we will be ranking Kendrick Lamar's 6 studio records from worst to best. Sit back, relax, and be sure to leave a like on this video. It helps out the channel a ton. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at last place, we have Kendrick Lamar's debut album, Section 80. Despite being at the bottom of this list, this album is not bad by any means, and in all honesty, it's better than most rappers' best albums. The record does a fantastic job introducing us to Kendrick and laying out all the aspects that would develop him into one of the greatest rappers of all time. We learn of his background, his motives, and many of the other struggles that he has endured through and experienced in his life. Despite Kendrick's youth, he already sounds so wise, which is reflected in tracks like Ronald Reagan Era and Keisha's Song. He's able to flesh out and execute such powerful stories, and his rhyming ability is off the charts, which is highlighted on tracks like Rigor Mortis and Poe Man Dreams, which are some of his best tracks from a technical lyricism standpoint to this day. On top of all of this, Lamar's ability to make catchy songs with significant meaning is also seen here, with the record's defining tracks being ADHD and, more importantly, High Power. All in all, Section 80 is the perfect welcoming statement to the world of Kendrick Lamar, and in the greater scheme of things is one of the best hip-hop debut albums of all time. Coming in at number 5, we have Kendrick Lamar's 2017 album, the Pulitzer Prize-winning album, Damn. Just like Section 80, despite being on the lower side of this list, it does not mean that it is bad by any means, and in all honesty, Damn is a top 5 album of 2017 at the least. The problem with Damn is that it lays out so many strong ideas, but it fails to fully execute upon them. Between the core themes of the record, which cover the duality within Kendrick's persona and how all of his core character traits came to be, to the devices that are utilized to flesh out these themes, there are so many brilliant moments and concepts laid out here, but Kendrick just doesn't always master the execution. There is a clear desire to make this album a lot more commercial friendly than Kendrick's other records, which definitely worked, as this is Kendrick's most popular album, it's his most accessible album, but this does hurt the actual quality of the music. Songs like Love and God waste key themes in the narrative just to appeal to a wider audience. Building on this, you got songs like Loyalty and Ya, which are very well written, but they just sound bad and out of place compared to the rest of the album. None of these flaws are deal-breaking, as the record is still very good in its entirety, but these gripes make it clear that Damn was definitely far from reaching its full ceiling. Now, what makes Damn as great as it is are its fantastic highs, which include songs like Lust, XXX, and Pride, which put Kendrick in some of his most bold environments that he ever has been in, both sonically and topically. Building on this, there's songs like Fear, Feel, and Duckworth, which are some of the best Kendrick Lamar tracks to date, as they embody these same artistic liberties to the max. Overall, Damn may be the most flawed Kendrick Lamar album, but even with all of its problems, it's still an amazing body of work. Cracking the top 4, we have Kendrick Lamar's 2016 project, Untitled, Unmastered. Funny part is about this album is that it was crafted from songs that were just cut from To Pimp a Butterfly, and it still manages to not just be one of Kendrick Lamar's best albums, but one of the best rap albums of the 2010s period. Adding to the lore of this record, the songs on Untitled Unmastered were first performed on various live shows that Kendrick did, and after LeBron James started demanding Top Dog Entertainment to release these songs, Kendrick actually put out the project as a complete experience. Now, Untitled Unmastered feels like DLC to Pimp a Butterfly, but in the best way possible. It expands on the album's ideas and themes, but in a way where it can stand strong on its own. The record has a very dark atmosphere, and as far as Kendrick's performance goes, he uses the album as a device to say that if we cannot fix the problems he addressed on TPAP, we will be doomed as a society. He references that our judgment day is coming, and we see Kendrick try to communicate with God, asking to be spared as he feels he has done everything he can to help save humanity. Kendrick conveys these themes of a falling world, talking about all that has been taken out of various cultures and society, and talking about various injustices within our world. The phrase "head is the answer" is repeated throughout the album to solidify these themes and ideas, and to lay out the concept that using our heads or our minds is the answer to our salvation, while getting head or loathing in our twisted pleasures, in the deeper sense of the word, will lead to our downfall. Through Untitled Unmastered's topical richness and production that turns up the grooviness, the funk, and the jazz from TPAP to the max, this album is an underrated gem in every single sense of the word. Cracking the top three, we have Kendrick's most recent album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. If you have not seen, I have a full track-by-track breakdown on this album, but to best summarize what makes Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers so amazing is its honesty. Kendrick Lamar is not here to heal you, he's not here to heal me. He's here to heal himself on this album and nobody else. He is so brutally real about every single aspect of his character that it almost seems that he wants the listener to hate him, but revealing these layers to himself only makes us more infatuated with him. We learn about the infidelities within his marriage, and he even goes as far to draw himself out to be a hypocrite of everything he has fought for. Kendrick has come to the realization that he is not the world's savior and that he never will be. He goes through this personally challenging journey of self-examination, understanding that despite all of the pain him and his ancestors have endured, by fixing his flaws, he may just be able to make the future for his kids better. This powerful message is conveyed through a double album experience which showcases Kendrick in some of the most creative and daring musical environments he has ever been in. All in all, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is Kendrick Lamar's most personal album, and it moves all the way to number 3 because of this. At number 2, we got the album that trajected Kendrick into superstardom, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. From start to finish, Kendrick's second studio album runs like a movie with its vivid storytelling, cinematic production, and character journey that shows Kendrick's life growing up in Compton. We learn about the troubles he faced, how those around him influenced his actions and feelings, and this all goes to show Kendrick and how he became the name we all know him as today. This experience is all laid out in a way that leaves no complaints. The production embodies classic West Coast hip-hop, but does so much to evolve it and give it a one-of-a-kind spin. The skits on this album feature Kendrick's friends and family commentating to add context to the songs and the conflicts Kendrick is going through. When it comes to concept albums in music, there are few better and even fewer that capture the art of storytelling as good as Good Kid, M.A.A.d City does. And finally, at number 1, we got the album of all albums, To Pimp a Butterfly. In every single sense of the word, TPAP is the perfect rap album. It's rich sonically with some of the best jazz rap production of all time. It's versatile in style, yet cohesive in its narrative and storytelling. The picture the album paints is bigger than Kendrick Lamar. It's bigger than hip-hop. It defines an entire generational struggle. Lamar harps on themes such as corruption, exploitation, materialism, racism, suicide, and self-hatred to build an experience that will impact listeners far beyond its sound. The struggle Lamar depicts retains to both his own life and the experiences others will face. We see a butterfly, beautiful and free, get pimped by the industry, shackled by the culture. We watch the struggles this treatment inflicts on the person in both their own communities and in their mental state. We learn so much more on the way, such as the value of all this pain and suffering, and where racism's role plays within causing these damages. All of this powerful topical exploration is conveyed through Kendrick Lamar's godly writing performance. If Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is a movie, To Pimp a Butterfly is an extensive TV series with all the depth and detail it fleshes out all of its ideas in. Every track has meaning at surface value, but every word Kendrick excretes goes far beyond its inherent meaning. He uses devices like the character Uncle Sam to show the damage that the United States inflicts, and uses the character of Lucy to serve as the devil. It's this type of lyrical layering that allows the album to serve on so many fronts and pack it all into a 16-song, 1 hour and 18-minute experience. The most well-detailed and powerful piece of music leaves listeners questioning the value of Kendrick's ideas. Was all the suffering worth it? And when will these problems boil into full-blown chaos, as Tupac references on his appearance on the outro Mortal Man? The final song repeats the phrase, "When shit hits the fan, is you still a fan?" to further punch in the dilemma Kendrick has posed, and to leave listeners forever impacted by the greatest rap album of all time. So there it is, my definitive ranking of Kendrick Lamar's 6 studio albums. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on my rankings in the comments below, and be sure to drop your own personal ranking while you're at it. Be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more. It helps out a ton in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, click the suggested video in the top left for my in-depth thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Your support means everything. Mr. Fantastic Hip Hop, signing out. Have a great day.